Hello and welcome to Maths and Maths. We're continuing our preparation for GCSE Maths Paper 2 and we're going to do some quick wins again. So looking at 1 and 2 mark questions where we can try and score some early marks and save some time for the longer questions later. So question 1 here, got to write 0.73 as a percentage. So this is decimals to percentage. And if you remember, all you have to do is multiply by 100. So 0.73 times by 100 is going to be 73%. Okay, done that in under a minute, so you're aiming for a mark a minute, and you're banking some time there. A mark per minute is what you should be going for. Circle the multiples of 8. So I'm quickly going to think, what is the 8 times table? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and so on. No numbers bigger than that. Well, that's definitely not. And remember, they've put some of these questions here because they want to see, do you know what your factors are versus your multiples? But this is multiples, so think of the multiplication table. So 16, 32, 40. Okay? Because 1, 4, and 2 are all factors, but don't get those two confused. Right, question 3. Use the correct symbol, less than, greater than, or equal to in each of these statements. Well, 204 is less than 240, so you point to the smaller one. If you think about the crocodiles, they eat the bigger one, and it'll be the other way around there because 177 is bigger than 170. They've thrown a negative in here, but if you think about your number line, minus 8, minus 7 all the way to 0, and then all the way up to 6. 6 is the larger of those two. Okay, so I've managed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks in just a matter of minutes. I know I'm moving fast, but I'm trying to put myself under exam time pressure, and again going for 1 or 2 mark questions, aiming for a mark a minute. Okay, to me that one looks like I've got to do a bit of reading, so I'm going to save that for later. Move on to question 5 here. Work out the size of the angles marked M and N. I can straight away see what N is because I don't need to do any calculation. N is vertically opposite, meaning that they're equal. So they haven't asked for a reason, but I know that N is 28. N would take a little bit more work, so I'm going to save that for later. I know what to do there. It's an isosceles triangle. But I'll come back and do that when I've got the time and I've got some more marks back. So let's move on to question 6 here. Name the parts of the circle. Again, no calculations needed here. Just don't have to use a calculator. Just got to know these. It's a curly line here pointing at the tangent. Assume they're pointing, they are pointing at the point where the circle meets the tangent, but assume they're just pointing at that line. And this one here is the sector. The segment is the one where the line goes across. Those are the two that sometimes I get confused. Okay, now here's a set of data. Mean, median, mode, range type questions. And what we need them to be is ordered, smallest to biggest. They've already done that for us. Sometimes a question, you'll have to get them into order. If I'm moving too fast, pause the video, rewind and play the section again. But again, I'm trying to time myself. But again, if you need to, just pause the video and play it again. Write down the mode. So mode, I always remember MO, mode, most common. 11's only on its own. 14, 16, 17, 23, 25, all the other numbers apart from 12 only come up once, so it's 12. And then write down the median. I remember this is MD, median, middle. How many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I cut that in half, it'd be 4.5, but I want the same number either side. I've got 4 there, I've got 4 there. 16 is in the middle. And then calculate the range. First time I have to do any calculations. It's the largest minus the smallest, 30 minus 11. So 30 minus 11 gives me 19. Okay, so another 1, 2, 3, 4 marks there, but they're short questions. Don't have to do too much reading. 8, it's a 2-mark question. Got to make a tally chart. The data's there. What you need to do is cross it off as you go along. So I've grouped the data. So 1 to 3, there's 1, 2's, another 2. You can see I'm crossing it off as I go. 2 3's. Okay, I think that's all of them. I've crossed them off as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you always do 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I go into the second group, 4 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the final group, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 4, and 6. Let's just confirm that those numbers add up to the numbers I've got there. 4 and 6 number bonds to 10. 18 in total. Have I got 3 rows of 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I know that the number that I've got here matches the number there, so nothing's missing. Okay, let's keep going. We're doing well. Coming up for 6 minutes. We've definitely got more than 6 marks. But as I say, if I'm moving fast, just pause, try and understand what's happening here. But I'm trying to only go for the short questions for now. Trying to say it the wrong way. So some graphs here and coordinates. A, B, C are 3 corners of a square. Mark the 4th corner on the grid and mark it D. So if you imagine, the D must be out here to make it a square. Now B, go down 2 and across 4 to get to A. So I go down 2 and across 4 to get to D. That should get me that 1 mark there. Now write down the coordinates of D. Well, I've gone down by 2 to 4 on the y-axis and across for 4 to 6 on the x-axis. So remember, you always put x and then y. So it's going to be 6 and 4. So finish that square. It should look like that. Then it says write down a line that is perpendicular to AB. Now, if you know the properties of a square, every corner is a right angle. So that's a right angle. AB is going to be perpendicular to AD or BC. Okay, hopefully that makes sense there. Just trying to draw in a square. Now here we've got a graph that shows the sales of tents over the course of 2 years. Real spike there. You can see what the top number there is. And it says in which month were sales the highest. Well, hopefully it's quite obvious that that's the one that's highest. If I read down using my ruler or the graph itself, I'm going to say June. And you think, to answer this next question, give a reason why this might be the case. I don't know, festivals, Glastonbury. But I don't know if that's a serious answer. It's summer. People are preparing for holidays. Okay. We're coming up to 8 minutes in. This question looks a bit long for me. Here's a two-way table. I like two-way tables. I think they're quite straightforward, especially if you've got a calculator. Complete the two-way table showing the gender and eye color of the students in a school. Whenever you've got a total, just add those two together. So 21 plus 37 is going to be 58. These two need to add to 64, so 64 minus 31. If I do that column, 3, I'm going to get 33. These two have to add to 150, so if I do 150 minus 67, take away 10 from there, 3, 83. Check that those actually add up. 7 and 3 is a 10, plus the 6 is 70. There we go. And then I've got just those last two gaps there. 21 and 33. 21 plus 33 is 54. And I've got to get up to 67, need another 13. Do another little scribble here. 58 and 64. Adding those together, I get 12, carry the 1. 5 and 6 is 11. 12, 122. I've got to get up to 150. 150 minus 122. Should know it's 28. Oh, and I didn't actually... Could have done that by the subtraction or just simply added those two together. 13 and 15. Okay, so there's only 2 marks. I've got quite a few videos on two-way tables on my channel, so do have a look at those. Just think about adding up to the total, both vertically and horizontally. Right, coming up to 10 minutes, I'm going to skip questions 13 and 14. They look like they need a bit more reading than what I'm aiming for in this approach here. Again, a lot more reading there. Right, 17, if you have a look at my other quick wins video, it's about filling in a table which needs substitution. But here, x and y add up to 6. So all we need is number bonds to 6. Start with 0. That's always the easiest. 0 plus 6. And then 1 plus 5, 2 and 4, 3 and 3, 4 and 2. And then once you've got that, you could plot a few of them and you could see what the negative one's going to be. But if you want to set that up when x is minus 1, what is y? Y is going to be 7. Okay. Now for an extra 2 marks, you've got to plot this. So these become the xy pairs, 0, 6, 1, 5. So when x is 0, y is 6. When x is 1, y is 5. When x is 2, y is 4. And as soon as you've got a few of them, you should be able to see the line. If I remember the mark schemes correctly, you don't have to plot every single point. Okay, if I had both hands working, get that line straighter. Okay. But that should give you an idea of how to answer those. Also, watch the other video that I've just released on quick wins. Okay, just over 10 minutes now, so I'll try and finish up after 12 minutes. Sorry, after 15 minutes. Let's get to another probability question. Also available on the other quick wins video. Remember, your probabilities have to sum to 1. Probability that Lucy wins a game of tennis is 0.6. So the probability that she's going to lose a game of tennis will be 0.4. And that she wins a game of chess is 0.3. So the probability that she loses the chess will be 0.7. Okay? We're assuming that they're independent, that her abilities at tennis don't affect her abilities at chess, or that her confidence doesn't drop after one of the events. So now we can fill this in, and just for 2 marks, if that's 0.6, that's going to be 0.4, that's 0.3, that's going to be 0.7. Again, assuming they're independent, 0.3 and 0.7. So that should give us 2 marks. We need to do a bit more calculation on that one. I'll leave it for saving some time. I'm just going to do a little bit more algebra on a question near the end of the paper, which is question 24 here. Because these type of questions, sometimes they come up very early on in the paper. Write down the value of 7 to the 0. Well, anything to the 0 is 1. And that's worth getting for 1 mark, which you can do in a matter of seconds. Here's a 2-mark question. 6a cubed b squared times 2a to the 5, 3a squared b to the 4. It might look like a lot, but if you treat each algebra and each number separately, it should make sense. Do the numbers first. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 over 3, well, do it in 2 steps, it's going to be 4. Then do the a's. A to the 3, a to the 5. Remember, you add them. A to the 8 over a squared. Then you subtract them. A to the 6. Then the b's. B squared, nothing. It's going to be b squared over b to the 4 over. Okay, so although it looked like a real handful there, if you treat it separately, it should all be okay. Right, that was a rushed, quick approach to see how you can get some marks in a GCSE paper 2. Obviously, I have skipped some questions that might need a bit more time, a bit more cognitive load, usage there, but I've gone for the 1-mark questions, going for a mark a minute. Any question where I don't have to read much there, and I know the approach. Again, don't have to read much there, and I know what to do. Saving me time, banking me some marks, that then I can feel a bit more confident and go and focus on those questions later. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and good luck for your exams.